Hey guys, Primal Chaos here. Welcome to the channel. Now, one of the many perils of running this channel is discovering, many new acts and stuff like that, which is definitely not a negative. But the challenge is sometimes I'll come across a band and I'll do one of their songs, and in the comments I'll be lit up with like, oh, if you like these guys, you should check out these guys and stuff like that. And you end up with this weird spider web of reactions going out in all different directions. And you go down these tangents, and sometimes it's challenging to get back to what put you on that path in the first place, because one band becomes five bands, and then those bands become five bands, and it just sort of spirals out of control really quickly. And one band that I haven't been giving enough respect to is BabyMetal, because the curiosity was sparked when I did my first one. I did Gimme Chocolate, which is a little bit more of sort of like their original work, less sort of well, I mean, as I've been told, since then they've become much more of their own thing, and they've gone on their own sort of journey and have way more interesting music. Now, I liked Gimme Chocolate. I thought it was fantastic, but it'd be interesting to sort of see what the fans consider to be more of like pure BabyMetal sort of stuff. Yeah, and so like, out of these guys, I've discovered so many amazing acts from Japan that are specifically all female bands that are just so diverse in their genres. Like you've got Guitaric Spin, who's got this sort of acid funk kind of attitude, a little bit punky. Then you've got like, Love Bites, which is fantasy metal, high-speed fantasy metal, a la Dragon Force and things like that. And others, but it's just crazy how like reacting to one band that I happen to really enjoy spiraled out into an entire journey, into an entire nation of hidden gems, So, but anyway, I need to get back to BabyMetal because, what sparked my interest is like, what is it about them that's changed? And, what is their mass appeal? Like they continue to grow. That, like, they recently they were on Bring Me the Horizon's new album and things like that. And so I really need to sort of get a grasp on this. Still being a bit of a BabyMetal infant in as far as my listening goes, there's I wasn't entirely sure what to select, but I wanted to do a live performance, just because I really want to see them in their element. I might do a video clip next after this, but yeah, so that's why I chose the song I did, and it's one that's been requested a fair bit as well. I don't know if this ticks the box of like this is modern BabyMetal, because I think, when did this come out? I think it's several years ago anyway. So, but it seemed like an interesting live performance from the thumbnail and stuff like that. So I'm just going to do it, and let's see what this is all about. This is BabyMetal Road to Resistance, live in Japan. Big stage. Oh. Why do I feel like a giant titan is about to come over the top? Nice. Nope, they're widening out the pit. Come on. Nice. It's weird. This has got the energy of like a Highland jig. You know what I mean? It's got sort of really Irish roots in just this sort of little harmonic part here. Just give me 1 second. I want to bring up the lyrics and, see what if I can figure out what this is all about. What's it? Okay, so the lyrics are essentially about, let's all get together and be stronger together as we battle the future, essentially. Like, today will form tomorrow. Yes, our future on the way. Resistance. So let's form a resistance and defeat our enemies as one. Even in despair, light and flames of your heart, as many as it takes. Now is the time to coexist, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, pretty cool. All right, let's get back into it. I'll jump back a little bit so I don't miss the build up to this section. Come on. Let's give it up for the Kami band, man. Jeez. How do they, like, I don't know how these guys get through, like the drummer particularly, how they get through an entire show without, like, switching out with someone else. You know what I mean? Like, they should have, like, someone, they start to fall off their chair and someone pushes them out of the way and continues drumming. And then, like, but then to be able to do that for an entire tour, the level of fitness must be so intense, but like they're all supreme musicians. And I mean, that's what you'd expect from a band of essentially session guys. They could be I'm not sure if they're pretty static or if they're interchangeable from different tours and different events and things like that. But man, they're good. They are rock solid. And the other thing I wanted to point out too is BabyMetal, how she can perform such an energetic show and still maintain a pristine vocal is pretty wild as well. A lot of times with artists that are more of a performative artist as far as like, dancing and stuff like that, usually have radio, like headset mics and things. A lot of times they'll mime at least part of the show because you can't keep up this cardio intensive thing and still be able to perform vocally all that well. But artists have come along like Pink that have shown us that that's not the case. Like people, I remember an interview with her once because her live show is really intense. She's like flying around on ropes and all this sort of stuff. Very acrobatic. And somebody said, it's wild how you don't mime, right? Like where other artists would sort of, if they're doing an intense dance routine or whatever, they'll mime that song or whatever. And it was almost like she was a little bit personally insulted. It's like, yeah, it's part of the gig. People are paying to come and watch you sing, and if you're not singing, then what's the point, right? And so it's always her live hot mic while she's swinging around on ropes and stuff. And again, it always amazes me with artists that when they have such an intense physical performance that they can maintain the vocal. Always really impressive. Come on. Great moment. Crowd's getting subtly more and more flat with every progression. Come on. To me, it's just so adorable when they say forever. I don't know what it is. There's something particularly about like what's so interesting about it is every time I look, I got to keep reminding myself that how they're not as young as they appear, because sometimes I'll look at the dancers themselves, or hang on, sorry, I'm trying to remember the names. BabyMetal and BabyMetal. They seem a little bit more childlike, particularly because of the dance moves and stuff like that. But it's like, I get a, what's her name? Oh, it's driving me crazy. Give me a sec. Oh, of course. They give me kind of a Shirley Temple vibe, you know, particularly with the curls and the smiles and the faces and stuff like that. And when I was a kid, I watched heaps of Shirley Temple movies because they used to be on in like afternoon stuff. For those of you who don't know who she was, Shirley Temple was probably one of the biggest stars in the world at one point. And she was a child star. And very, very similar to this in her aesthetic as like she was always in big frocks, and she has the curly hair and stuff like that. And she was a worldwide phenomenon. And what was sort of interesting is that in the short time she was acting, she pumped out a bunch of movies, and she was such a money cash cow for the studio that they actually built her a house on the lot so she could be there at all times to be filming. And, you know, it had like imagine like in the car park of a film studio, there's this cute little house made, almost like a cubby house, you know, or like a tree house sort of situation. But, you know, they built a tiny house for her with like even a white picket fence and some lawn around it, you know, and things like that. And, you know, as a kid, I kind of enjoyed it because she was really entertaining. She could tap dance and she could sing, and, you know, they'd wind her up and watch her go, and she'd make millions of dollars. But as you get older, you sort of look back at it and you go, man, there's something kind of exploitative about what was going on there, you know? And you sort of get, now whenever I see Shirley Temple, I kind of feel a little bit on edge about it. I'm like, I don't know if that's, you know, and so the funny thing is I keep looking at these guys and I keep getting this weird feeling in the pit of my stomach. It's like, and then I got to remember that they're not kids because they just look so youthful, you know? It's, I don't know why that just sort of jumps out at me when I see them sort of like, getting so into the performance, their big smiles and their movements and stuff like that. It seems like it's got, if you're not thinking about it, you get this weird stage mother energy of someone yelling, you know, smile harder, you know. But obviously these guys love what they do, and this is a passion performance thing. So it's my problem, not theirs. You know what I mean? I just, exploitation, something that really bothers me. And I got to remind myself that that's not what this is. So here we go. Actually, one other thing I wanted to point out when I was a minute ago is I'm starting to get it now. I feel like these guys really fall into the camp of power metal. It seems like a lot of these sort of Japanese bands, they have varied influences from a lot of different genres, but they still kind of manage to fall into a wide, broad brushstrokes kind of vibe for a specific genre. Like, whereas guitaric spin, a lot of times because of the bass playing particularly, they fall into more of a funk territory. These guys are power metal. Love Bites I'd probably consider to be more speed power metal. So there's definitely genres that these guys slip into, even though their influences are very varied, which is interesting. What a way to end a show, man. All right. All right, stick around after the break and I'm going to break it down. Hey guys, this video is made possible by Enchroma. 1 in 6 guys and 1 in 200 women are colorblind. And if that happens to be you, there's something you can do about it. Click the link in the take you to web and corrective lenses. They've got styles to suit everybody and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So you got really nothing to lose. And while you're there, use the code CHAOS in checkout to get 10% off. Tell them Primal Chaos sent you. Wow, okay, so what an interesting one. What a great moment in a show, right? That song is perfectly... I mean, I'm not sure if that's how the studio version of the song goes, but that performance of it was just a great way to really engage the crowd and have that moment in the middle, where they go out in the crowd. It's just a great song for finishing. I'm not sure if that was the end of the show, but it seems like that was the finale. And, live shows are more than just a band going out on stage and just playing a bunch of songs. You have to have a narrative. You have to have something that people walk away from the show with, and they walk away from the show with a story, right? They're like, man, halfway through they did that thing, or like towards the end they really elevated everything back up to hype us up and then, take us out on a high. So you're walking out of there like you're walking on air, and there's an art to constructing a modern live performance that really sort of, it creates a legend that you as an audience member, you don't forget. You have a sense of community and a sense of togetherness and all of that, which you can get from just a normal basic show of people playing, their songs in order, but there's also a way of doing live performances, which I suspect these guys are great at, which makes for a far better experience and a more heightened experience, right? And also, again, you walk out of there with a story and a kindred spirit. You see somebody else wearing the shirt from that tour and you're like, dude, I was there, something happened at that show that changed the way I think about the band, or or that just it cemented a memory that I'll never forget. And there's ways of doing that, by one, writing the right kind of songs. We talked about with Parkway Drive. Kronos is a perfect time in a hardcore show, or a metalcore show, to give the audience a break, right? You've just been smacking them in the face for the last hour and a half. Let's bring it back a notch. We'll play something musical, still within genre, but in a way that, sort of allows everybody to sort of wind down a little bit right before the finale, where you boot them in the ass again, there's ways of positioning your songs. There's ways of adding interactive elements to certain songs. There's ways of having some sort of spectacle that happens during a particular song, that really sort of takes a live show and turns it into a legendary live show. And that's what I suspect was going on here. I felt a lot of that energy, but wow, what a great band. They're just, everything about them is exactly as it should be, right? I'm not going to sit here and say, wow, they're good, but, because there's really no buts. They have the spectacle of the three talented front ladies. Sue Metal has an amazing voice. They have beautifully constructed songs that have rich melodies. They're not afraid to go into major territory, like major being the harmonic tonal character of it is a bit, you'll notice, because it's when it shifts into a more positive feeling vibe. Typically minor keys are associated with kind of darkness and sadness or moodiness or whatever. And then the sun can come out by just changing to, minor chords in whatever key you play. Oh, sorry, major chords in whatever key you're playing. And there was definitely light and shade in this. There's moments of pure intensity, and then it gives way to this elation as it goes into the positive sections of the songs, which is where that sense of togetherness comes from. It's not an accident, as an audience member, when they do that and they're preaching lyrics about coming together as one and defeating our enemies and things like that. And it becomes at that point an anthem, a battle anthem. And I guess, honestly, I don't think it's any sort of coincidence that, I don't know about the other two, but I noticed Sue Metal's outfit emulates armor. It looks like she's wearing chest armor, like scale mail or something like that, right? Because they're warriors on stage. That's the whole vibe, right? I really dug, obviously the band, the Kami band, they're just next level. They play great. Super clean, super energetic, beautiful timing. You can't stop saying good stuff about them. And again, they get involved in the live performance too. I saw them at the end there, call it out. Who are we, And of course, energetic players as well. They're in the background. They're not doing enough to take away from what everyone came to see, which is Sue Metal and the gang, right? But they're doing enough that it validates them being there as well, So, no, I really like that. I'd definitely watch that again. No problems. It was as I've said in the past, this whole channel started because I'm not really all that familiar with extreme metal, things like deathcore, metalcore, that sort of stuff. Aside from some ones that have sort of translated over into the zeitgeist, right? But I am relatively familiar with power metal. So, bands like Nightwish or Angra or Symphony X and, bands like that. I like, also like Camelot a lot, through various albums and things like that. So I'm definitely not an expert on the genre. I know what I like, and I like a few things scattered around, but these guys definitely, to me, fall into the power metal genre. I'm not sure what differentiates them so much from like Love Bites. They're definitely more fantasy based from what I can tell. Like they seem a little bit more Dragon Forcey rather than, like this is more like Angra is the best example I can think of, because this song in particular is still fast and blast beaty, but there's something about the energy of it that's not as epic fantasy, swords and dragons. So that's the distinction I make. Tell me if I'm wrong. I guarantee I'm wrong. The whole point of this is I'm not telling you guys what it is. You guys need to tell me. I'm the rookie here, so let me know. But thank you so much for recommendation that was a little bit more diverse than Gimme Chocolate. You guys always come through with some really top-notch suggestions, so I appreciate that. Yeah, so that's basically what I got to say on it. As always, if you feel like I've brightened your day at all, I'd really appreciate it if you just buy me a coffee. That's a really good way of supporting the channel. There's a link in the description. Like, share, subscribe. Send this to anyone who you think might appreciate it. If you come across this and you know someone who's a BabyMetal fan, hook me up, send it across. I'd love that. That's the best way to support the channel. And again, keep these suggestions coming. This channel works because of the community. You guys are the ones who fuel this whole thing. So I don't know where I'm going. I'm just like, trudging around in the dark trying to find my way out. And you guys are the guiding light that helps me get there. So I appreciate that. And yeah, thanks a lot, guys. I've been Primal Chaos, and I'll catch you on the next one.